Straight from the heart of Nashville, where country legends are made and new voices rise. We've got the hottest new tracks, their stories behind the songs, and the next big stars in country music. This is New on Music Row with Chris Miles. Saddle up, your front row all access pass to Music Row starts now.
Hey, it's Chris Miles. Welcome to this week's episode of New on Music Row. A lot of cool things to cover today. Great rising star artists in the fold for you. Of course, I've got a couple of awesome birthdays we're going to talk about when we look at back in country music on this date in country music history. And then last but not least, we'll round out the show with what I like to call the artist or song or maybe even band that you should be paying attention to and maybe giving a little bit more love to. All of that and more here today on the show. And I stopped by that because what I really wanted to point out with you is that this show is on the Rise Network. And have you heard about some of the other shows on the Rise Network? Have you heard about Can I Call You Dad? Have you heard about Lunchtime Trivia? If you haven't, check them out because you probably searched for something, a song title, or even an artist, and you found us. Make sure you check out some of the other stuff on the Rise Network as well, too. Some great stuff going on there. You may even hear my voice or see me on some of those other episodes as well, too. So definitely some things to check out. You know what else is something to check out? What happened last week as far as my 5 picks are concerned and where they landed stream-wise and things of that nature. So let's jump right into it. Jordan Davis's Jesus Wouldn't Do, over 974,000 streams. And, you know, we pretty much right where we thought it was going to be. Now, this is just for last week. This isn't, total overall streams. Like I've said, it's not worldwide. It's just right here in the good old US of A. So Jordan Davis doing pretty good this week. Moving on to number 2, the Zac Brown Band. Ain't worried about it. And like I said last week, they ain't worried about it. I mean, they've got a long list of songs, a big, huge following. And of course, at 690,000 streams, at probably about 691,000 actually. They did pretty well for the week. Could probably use a few more listens. So if you haven't listened to it yet, make sure you check out Ain't Worried About It by the Zac Brown Band. If you're a Zac Brown Band fan, I think you're going to like it. Moving on, Old Dominion, one of my personal favorite bands, Water My Flowers, new song out from them. Probably heard it on the radio already. If you haven't, well, then maybe you're streaming it because the numbers looked really good this week. 947,000, streams just for this week alone. And like I said last week, that's the third cut from their album that's coming out right around September. It's called Barbara. Check it out. It's got a really cool cover. It's the old beauty shop look. Lady's got, I think if I remember correctly, she's got the permanent hair dryer thing over her head, and there's a purple wall in the background. There's some great photos of the guys as well on set for that with the purple wall, or pink wall rather, in the background. But also really cool things to check out. Plus, I also told you about a couple of my favorite songs from them, and I fumbled a little bit over that band, the other band that I like a lot, Little Big Town. But you know what? It's all fun and games because they brought the numbers this week, and you provided them. So that's awesome. But one of my favorite songs from them, Song for Another Time. I'm highlighting that because that song takes song titles from other songs from other genres from across the decades and put it all together in a song. But there's a song this week that takes lyrics from country songs and puts it all together in a really cool country song. That's going to be in the top 5 this week. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. So Old Dominion doing fairly well for themselves, exactly where we thought they would. Gavin Adcock is the next one, Never Call Again, the title of that track that was released. And Gavin, 1.3 million streams. Pretty amazing. And if you haven't checked Gavin out, well, he's somebody you got to be paying attention to. A couple of songs to check out by him, 4-Leaf Clover, Need a Cigarette, and then Morning Ball as well. Great songs from him. And then last but not least, we rounded it out with Zach Top, Good Times and Tan Lines. I told you last week that this was one of those feel-good party songs, and I think you're going to totally enjoy it. I think you're going to be blown away by it. And it's probably going to be like the On the Lake song this year. You know, the summertime On the Lake song, hanging out with your pals and stuff like that. Popping a few cold ones, but it did fairly well for itself this week. 1.3 million streams, almost 1.35 million streams. So great numbers for all of the top 5 from last week. But now we move on. And we move on to the picks from this week. Starting off with Megan Moroney. 6 months later, I wonder if this song has anything to do with the previous song that she did with You Had to Be There, and how it's like, 6 months after the Kenny Chesney tour and stuff like that. Well, only time will tell. Well, today, if you listen to the song, maybe you'll see the insider view there and see, am I off or am I right on or whatever. Plus, of course, there's a whole nother set of drama going on between Megan Moroney and I can't think of the guy's name right now, but yeah, that guy. Exactly. It's awesome when the people, your cameraman's like trying to help you out with with who it is. But there's a little bit of a love triangle going on there. It's Riley Green, and kind of an interesting situation going on in that background. So maybe the 6 months later is a homage to that. I don't know. We'll see. Megan Moroney, of course, You Had to Be There. The latest hit from her. Tennessee Orange, Am I Okay? Of course she's okay. And then my favorite song from her, Ain't Nothing About You, which was on Brooks and Dunn Reboot 2. I love the way that they just kind of collaborate on that and totally gave it a fresh new feel. Moving on, Morgan Wallen, I Got Better. Yeah, I hope he does. No, I'm just kidding. Of course, just topping the charts, hit after hit after hit after hit. And you know what? It doesn't seem like there's an end in sight with this guy. And that's great for Morgan Wallen fans and for everybody else as far as country music is concerned. Keep pushing the envelope and making things great. A couple songs from him. The latest song from him, Superman, did fairly well for him. I'm the Problem, Last Night, of course, Wasted, and the list goes on and on. My favorite song by him is Sand in My Boots. So check that out as well. Moving on to the next song. This is the one that I said was the song that brings country music lyrics into it to create like a whole compilation of stuff. It's called Heard It in a Country Song. See, it's already got a catchy tune. It's by Russell Dickerson, so you know it's going to be amazing vocal wise, and it's such a great song. Let me read some of the lyrics to you. You can still get the girl if you have a barbecue stand on your shirt. Remember that? You know what song that's from, right? Never leave blue eyes crying in the rain. It's still a good night if you just settle for a grape snow cone. Yeah, there we go. We know what that's about, right? From the Chattahoochee. Yeah. Anyway, and then Dust on the Bottle Ain't Such a Bad Thing. So, and that's just the first verse of that song. So sit back and listen to that and tell me that that's not going to be a huge hit for Russell Dickerson. If you don't know who Russell Dickerson is, well, then make sure you check out some of his other songs. Blue Tacoma is a great song of his. Yours is another one as well. Love You Like I Used to, great song there. My personal favorite from him is She Likes It. Yeah, you know what that is. And then last but not least, another great song by his, God Gave Me a Girl as well. So we're in the top three. As far as the top five is concerned, let's move on to an artist that you may or may not have heard of just yet. Jay Webb's One More Shot, coming out this week on radio. And he's from Alabama. He's an Alabama native. He says he brings an unfiltered approach to country music with his unapologetic attitude and lyrics that ring true to his fans. He's kind of got that brashy, kind of outlaw-y feel to him, and it just shows through in a lot of his songs. Check out Whiskey River. That's my favorite song from him. Also, Down Here, Cowboy Killers, Whiskey Don't Cheat, which I love. It's an amazing, great lyrical song about how whiskey doesn't cheat, but, there's other things that do, right? Or other people. You get my drift there. And then last but not least, Broken. I'm really digging that song a lot. Just started listening to it a couple days ago, and I got to tell you, it's given me a new perspective on Jay Webb and just a whole greater appreciation for him. Now, rounding out the top five, we've got a gal from Atlanta, Georgia, who has been in the country music scene for a few years, but she kind of walked away for a little bit because she was focusing on her family, and then she decided, you know what, I've got the right balance here, pay the dues on the family side. Now it's time to get my career back in line. That girl is Lily Rose. She's got a song coming out this week called End Like This. I think you're going to love it. And Lily is also the Rising Star Spotlight this week as well. So let's go over the top five for the week. We'll talk a little bit more about Lily Rose coming up in just a second here. So looking at the 5 picks for the week, we got 6 months later with Megan Moroney. I Got Better with Morgan Wallen. Heard It in a Country Song, Russell Dickerson. That's the one I think is going to be absolutely huge come the end of next week. One More Shot, Jay Webb, and then last but not least, And Like This by Lily Rose. Excuse me. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, you know what it is? It's humid here where I am, and it's raining like cats and dogs, and that's probably what's causing the little phlegm buildup. That's what's going on. Anyway, all right, so we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the rising star of the week. Like I said, it was Lily Rose. See, it just cleared up. That's when I talk like this, it clears up. Anyway, maybe I should talk like that more often. No? Yeah? My cameraman's like going, no. Anyway, Lily Star's the rising star. Lily Rose, rather, is the rising star. She's a Lily Star, too, of the week. She's from Atlanta, Georgia, like I told you. Got a chance to see her for the Outskirts tour. Sam Hunt, she opened up for him. Didn't know too much about her, but she came out in a baseball cap and was wearing like a T-shirt and like some baggy jeans, and I was kind of like, oh, who's this girl? And she opened her mouth and started singing, and I was like, wow, amazing. Just a pure voice, overall quality, tone, and everything. Just really pure, really refined. Nothing like, over outlandish or anything like, no belting or anything like that, but just a strong, smooth, overall tone in her voice. And you can hear it in her songs. And you can hear it like in her, like when she's talking to you and stuff like, she's working the crowd, like, when you see the artist live and things of that nature. So Lily Rose is the Rising Star Spotlight of the week. Some songs to check out by her. Of course, we just talked about And Like This from the top 5 of the week. But check out Seeing Blue. Check out Know My Way Around. Check out I'll Be With You. And then last but not least, I just started listening to this song, The Back Pew. It's not The Back Pew, it's just Back Pew. Really cool song. Talks about how she was like 15 minutes late to church, got into the back, missed a little bit of the worship, but she was there because she had something she needed to tell God. And you know what? The song is such an awesome song. It's such a story, and it's just filled with like faith and somebody who maybe redirecting themselves towards their faith or something like that. You know how songs resonate for people in different ways. That's kind of what I'm taking from it. But what are you taking from it? That's a good time right now to talk about how you can leave comments in the comment section below. So make sure you do that. Let me know what's going on in your world. Let me know what you think of Lily Rose. Let me know what you think of some of the other stuff we're doing as well. And then take a listen to Lily Rose. I'm telling you, you're gonna love her. There's just gonna be something. There's just something about her that is just it's so like unique and just a wonderful perspective on things. Now, like I said, she's from Atlanta, Georgia, and like she literally burst onto the scene with a song that I left off the list that you need to check out, because if you know Lily Rose, you probably know this song. Villain was the song that put her on the map, so to speak. And it's an amazing song, great lyric, and just the flow of the song, the flow of all of her songs are really just so awesome and amazing, the way that they just kind of build and build and build on the story. And that's really what I like, why I love her so much. She's just got such great story building in her lyrics. And, her melodies are great. Like I said, her overall tone quality is great as well, too. Now, she signed with Big Loud Records and Mercury Records as well. The kind of labels kind of like expand, and like it's Mercury Records, but it's also Black Blocks Records, and then it's also Big Loud Records. It's just kind of one whole conglomerate of all those things. Lily, of course, like I said, has been touring with some of the big names in country music. I mentioned Sam Hunt. She's also opened up for country pop icon Shania Twain. She was on The Voice for a little bit. She's been on ABC's Good Morning America. She's already been nominated for ACM Best New Female Artist. She took home GLAAD's Outstanding Breakthrough Music Artist Award back in 2022. And like I said, she kind of took a little bit of a break there. 2022, she got married, decided to focus on her marriage a little bit more, spend some more time with her wife. And then she decided, you know what? We did all that. We did some great things. We've got some great memories. And her wife was kind of like, you know what? You need to get back into doing what you do best. So back in 2024, she released her long-awaited EP, Running Out of Time. Check that out. If you haven't, you probably run out of time because, well, no, I'm not. I'm kidding. It's available on Spotify or anywhere other place that you stream your music, Apple Music as well, too. Again, like I said, if you take the time to listen to her, I think you're going to fall in love with her. And I think you're just going to really, really, I think she's just going to really resonate with you. Like she says, I really wanted to achieve and keep achieving. And that's when she came to realize that it's not the most important thing to be like the big superstar. What she said is, what I need to achieve most is to be a good wife, a good daughter, a good friend, and that will keep fueling the fire for the rest of my career. So a gal who's got her head on straight, realizes that she's got responsibilities, but also knows that she's got talent as well, and that is the reason why she is this week's Rising Star, the spotlight on the Rising Star. Check her out, Lily Rose, new song coming out today, as a matter of fact, and Like This. Check that out. Let me know what you think. And then, Seeing Blue, I think you're good. That's her latest single. I think you're going to like that one as well, too. Villain, of course, everyone knows her for that song, but I really like Black Pew, and I think you're going to like it as well. So again, there's your Rising Star spotlight for the week. Lily Rose from Atlanta, Georgia, a great artist to be checking out, and I think one that you're going to really appreciate as well. So, moving on, we're going to take a look at some of the birthdays on this date in country music history. Of course, we're talking about June 20th. So, back in 1945, I know we went like way back there for a second, and I'm going to hit you with another one. We're going to go up north, and, international waters, right? Because even though Canada's part of North America, it's really technically its own like province, so to speak. I mean, they're connected with the Kingdom of England and things of that nature. But when it comes to domestically, even though they're in North America, they're still international. Just saying. But we're looking at a gal who kind of really doesn't need much of an introduction. As soon as I say her name, you're all going to be like, "Oh yeah, I know who she is." Even if even if you're in your early 20s, I'm sure you've probably heard of this gal. Anne Marie, celebrating a birthday today. On this date in 1945 is when she was born. Do I need to get into the list of songs that Anne is known for? I don't think so. I think you know exactly who she is. Basically, the Associated Awards winner for her 1984 album, A Little Good News. If you haven't checked that out, check that out as well. But happy birthday, Anne Marie. Moving on to 1949. So we jumped just a few years ahead. Another guy who, if you watch current music shows, you've probably seen him for, I think, at least the last 4, if not 5 seasons on a very, very, very popular pop song contest kind of show. I'm talking about American Idol, and that artist that I'm talking about is Lionel Richie, born on this date in 1949 from Tuskegee, Alabama. And if you have not listened to his Tuskegee album, where he takes all of his greatest hits, well, not all of them, but a good sampling of his greatest hits, and then gives them a country feel and has some country artists join along with him. If you haven't checked that out, you got to check that out. You are doing yourself a disservice if you haven't checked it out, especially if you grew up liking Lionel Richie, or if you've ever liked the Commodores or anything like that. A Lady is a great song to check out from him. He does a version of Sweet River Woman as well. Oh, man, that whole album is just phenomenal. And if you haven't sat back out on your porch in the middle of the afternoon with your favorite beverage, just listening to the tunes from that album, you should do it. You owe yourself that. Or maybe if you go out like on a trip and you got that screened in porch and you wake up in the morning, you got your cup of coffee, just put it on in the background. Just lightly let it play and stuff like that. Kenny Chesney's featured on the album as well too. I mean, there's so many. Blake Shelton's on there. There's so many artists to list off. One of my favorite bands is on there as well, Little Big Town. Just some that whole album. You just need to listen to it all the way through. You're gonna love it. And you're going to thank me, and I'm just going to say you're welcome right now. So again, on this date, June 20th, 1949, Lionel Richie was born. I don't need to go into any other things with that, other than to say, listen to Tuskegee. You're doing yourself a favor. All right, on this date in country music history, jumping ahead all the way to 1991, Garth Brooks was at the number 1 spot on the U.S. country chart with his 3rd studio album, Rope in the Wind. You know that album, right? Of course you do. It replaced his previous album, No Fences, at the number 1 position. So he knocked himself out of the best, number 1 ranking, so to speak, with his own album. That album, No Fences, enjoyed a combined 18 weeks at the top of the charts as well. So that was on this date in 1991. A little Garth Brooks action for you there. Moving on to 2015, Chris Stapleton was at number 1 on the U.S. country charts with his debut studio album, Traveler. There's another good album to listen to all the way. You know what song's on there, right? I don't have to tell you, do I? Tennessee Whiskey, really? Do I? Okay, anyway. Yeah, that's a great album as well. It basically was named Album of the Year at the 2015 Country Music Association Awards, and that album pretty much just made it where he was going to be the CMA Artist of the Year for like 5 years in a row. That, and of course the next couple albums he released after that. But I mean, let's be honest, Chris Stapleton, absolutely amazing. If you've ever seen him in concert, something I want you to notice: he turns his microphone and faces his wife, and when they sing together, and you can watch the non-verbal communication that goes on between the two of them while they're performing. He looks over at her with this glance that it's absolutely amazing, and then she looks right back, and it's just like they're locked in. It's so cool to see live. So make sure you check out Chris Stapleton live if you haven't already. All right, moving ahead to 2018. Meant to Be by American singer Bebe Rexha. I think I pronounced that wrong, but I'm not a pop star, or even a pop fan, so I don't remember. Her and Florida Georgia Line got together, and they did a song, what was it called? It's Not Even Here Anymore. Wow, my computer just went blank on me. Anyway, Body Like a Back Road by Sam Hunt was on the chart for a couple of weeks there, and Meant to Be just knocked it right out of the water. So it was it 2018 this year? Not this year, 2018. See, I'm getting ahead of myself. You know what it is? It's the cameraman. He's like going like this, like I'm, when they try to do like this to tell you, so you speed up and things. I'm going to slow down just to make him upset. That's what we should do. Anyway, that's 2018, Meant to Be from Florida Georgia Line and Bebe Rexha. I don't know how to say her name, and I'm sorry that I butchered it. But that's what happened in the country music on this date, June 30th, and the years that we highlighted. So we're going to move on to the last part of the show. I saved the best for last. This song celebrating its 30th anniversary, and it was released just a couple weeks ago. Ty Herndon. We talked about him, I think, back on like May 2nd. I think that's when his birthday was. We mentioned him. We mentioned a song from his What Mattered Most. That's the number one, the biggest song that he ever did. A friend of mine was trying to tell me that Garth Brooks did a cover of it, but I couldn't find it anywhere. I looked through like all of his catalog and tried to find it. So maybe he did, but I couldn't confirm that. That's why Garth was featured in the news, because of that. No, that's not really what happened. It just happened that way. But I was having a conversation about Garth Brooks this week. Anyway, not that you needed to know that. So What Matters Most, Ty Herndon and LeAnn Rimes. So there's a new twist to this song. You know how artists have artists have done duets, like let's look at Jason Aldean and Carrie Underwood, and I'm going to use Carrie Underwood as another example here, but Carrie Underwood and Keith Urban, that song Fighter, right? Artists kind of going like back and forth in the duet world. Well, that's really what's going on here. This is cool because this song gives you the perspective not only from the guy, but then LeAnn brings in like the gal version as well. So it's kind of like an answer back type version of the song. It's absolutely amazing. The song was great when it first came out in and of itself 30 years ago, but this takes it to a whole new level. And you know what? I think it's going to see some airplay. I think a bunch of the radio stations are probably going to pull it back. They call it the gold section of their songs because, it's country music from like years ago. They'll probably pull it back because it's a new song. They'll probably play that. I would hope they would, at least if that's what I would do if, I was in charge at Country Radio. I mean, back when I was sort of in charge, we kind of did some great stuff as well, too. And that's where this show came from, because we were doing stuff behind the scenes, and I wanted to give you guys a view of what happens. And some of the stories that I've shared with you already. And this is another one of those great stories. A great number one hit from Ty Herndon 30 years ago, remastered, remixed, and then brought in with LeAnn Rimes on the vocals as well. So totally 90s country feel to it. A little bit, but a little bit of a, 2025 remix to it, so to speak. It's not like, overly hip-hoppy, poppy or anything like that, but it still pays great homage to the way the song was, but it's got a little bit of a fresher uptake as well. I think it's gonna chart fairly well. I don't think it's gonna go all the way to number one, although you could help that by, requesting it on your favorite radio station or even streaming it right on all the streaming platforms that you can use. But take a listen to it. I think you're gonna like it. Ty Herndon, of course, from Meridian, Mississippi, and joining alongside with LeAnn Rimes to basically pay homage to a song that's 30 years old, and now it's just as cool. So make sure you check that out as well. Speaking of checking things out, like I said in the beginning of the show, make sure you check out the comment section, subscribe, like, send this stuff to your friends. Tell your friends that they should check it out as well, too. If you got here because you were searching for one of the songs that I mentioned, hey, I'm so grateful that you're here. I hope you listened to a bunch of the other episodes and you can see some of the inside view that I have to some of the artists. We're going to have a couple other rising star artists featured on some shows coming up in the near future. And as always, we're right here on the Rise Network. You need to check out Can I Call You Dad? I'll be on Lunchtime Trivia fairly soon. You might want to check that out as well. Probably going to be doing like some music trivia stuff because why not? I mean, that's what I do, right? But there was some bounce back and forth between there. You might even see me on one of the episodes of Can I Call You Dad? And maybe somewhere down the road, you might see me in another episode teaming up with some other people from here, from the Rise Network. The Rise Network is growing massively. And we're looking forward to some of the great things that we're going to be unraveling here. And speaking of that, I'm going to look forward to seeing you next week right here on New on Music Row. See, that's what I was like, getting excited because I got to share all this great stuff with you. And then I fumbled through my words again. It's New on Music Row right here only on the Rise Network.